playing the video.
Andhra Group of Institutions was established in 2002. We believed in three factors for any education institutions to grow. The first thing, having best infrastructure, faculty, and creating an academic environment. Coming to infrastructure, we have taken care in providing best classrooms, laboratories, library, equipment, everything. So we should have the state-of-the-art facilities. We have taken care, we have provided.
Andhra Group of Institutions, in its 17 years of journey, has received many awards and recognitions from national bodies. We were accredited by National Accreditation and Assessment Council of India with A grade, and all the UG programs in engineering and pharmacy were accredited by National Board of Accreditation. In the recent NIRF rankings, we were ranked at 169 across India. Our students not only got excelled in academics, but were also placed in reputed MNCs across India.
For any education institution, the teaching and non-teaching faculty is the backbone of that institution. So we have attracted best faculty, we have retained them, we trained them. Now the Anurag faculty is best at OBE methods, teaching learning methods, and they have been publishing their publications in peer journals. We have come from 180 students in 2002 to right now there are 6,500 students, 700 plus teaching and non-teaching faculty, and best academic environment. We are heading towards Anurag University in the coming academic year. We welcome you all to this small but vibrant and dynamic institution, Anurag.
Excuse me, sir. MSR, sir. Hello.
Yeah, Asif, tell me.
Sir, it's Anirudh. Sir, if you could make me the co-host, it would be better.
So shall we start, sir?
Yeah, wait, no, 5 minutes time is there.
Okay, sir.
Krishna, can you play one more time the video?
Yes, sir.
Krishna. Krishna,
Yes, sir. I'm playing it once again.
thank you.
Andhra Group of Institutions was established in 2002. We believed in three factors for any education institutions to grow. The first thing, having best infrastructure, faculty, and creating an academic environment. Coming to infrastructure, we have taken care in providing best classrooms, laboratories, library, equipment, everything. So we should have the state-of-the-art facilities We have taken care, we have provided.
Anurag Group of Institutions, in its 17 years of journey, has received many awards and recognitions from national bodies. We were accredited by National Accreditation and Assessment Council of India with A grade, and all the UG programs in engineering and pharmacy were accredited by National Board of Accreditation. In the recent NIRF rankings, we were ranked at 169 across India. Our students not only got excelled in academics, but were also placed in reputed MNCs across India.
For any education institution, the teaching and non-teaching faculty is the backbone of that institution. So we have attracted best faculty, we have retained them, we trained them. Now the Anurag faculty is best at OBE methods, teaching learning methods, and they have been publishing their publications in peer journals. We have come from 190 students in 2002 to right now there are 6,500 students, 700 plus teaching and non-teaching faculty, and best academic environment. We are heading towards Anurag University in the coming academic year. We welcome you all to this small but vibrant and dynamic institution, Anurag.
A very warm welcome to all the speakers of the day, participants, and my dear friends. Hope the past 2 days were most beneficial to all of us, adding values to our knowledge in this pandemic. I'm sure that today's session adds more value in getting inspired by the successful stories of young entrepreneurs. I, Sheikh Asif Basha, and my co-host Shinmay feel privileged to welcome you all for the third day of Wake Up Call, organized by Entrepreneurship Development Cell, Avishkaran, the Diaspora Ideas, in collaboration with School of Management and Department of English, Anurag University. I take immense pleasure to invite Dr. V. Vishnuvandana Ma'am, Associate Professor, MBA Department, and Convener ECEL for the welcome address.
Thank you, Asif. A very warm welcome to everyone here for the third day of Wake Up Call, a virtual wisdom event for the aspiring entrepreneurs. We are very glad to witness the wonderful response from the participants over the past 2 days who have been very inquisitive and participative by asking several questions to the panelists and this first day speaker, Mr. Sukhendra Rumpalli. And today we are having with us three successful entrepreneurs who started at a very young age and are making a mark of them in the field of entrepreneurship. We have Mr. Paresh Masade, Mr. Sandilya and Nikhil, who are our own alumni of Anurag, which I can proudly boast of, and I hope their experiences I hope their experiences will enlighten us on what are the opportunities, what are the challenges they faced, and how, with a lot of determination, they moved forward, and what made them stand up in their own field. And at this point, I would like to share Anurag is very proud to show that there are many more entrepreneurs who have made it while they are still a student, like Surya Subhash, Kaushik Bharadwaj, Shamantak Mani, Sandilya, Nikhil, Sumit, who has recently received a funding, and of course, Nikhil, he just has received some funding for his Digidine and various awards, and many more on the making with the help of various mentors and the incubation facilities and the support by various collaborators like NEN, ALEAP, or Vadvani Foundation, MSME, and so on. So we hope anyone who is willing to come for incubation facilities or mentoring, Anurag is willing to provide. Once the idea is innovative, we are willing to offer any support to the students or the outsiders who want to utilize the facilities of Anurag University incubation facilities. At the same time, I would like to thank the speakers of the day, Mr. Paresh Masade, Sandilya, and Nikhil for taking their time off to come and address the sessions. I would also like to thank our management director, Vice Chancellor, Registrar Sir, and Dr. M. Srinivas Rao Sir, School of Business Management and Department of English for giving us an opportunity to run this event. And we hope you will enjoy the event today and get some more insights. And we hope to be seeing you soon again in the next program or at Anurag. Welcome to Anurag. Welcome to entrepreneurship. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Now it's my privilege to invite our guest of honor, Dr. Mahipati Srinivas Rao Sir, Academic Coordinator, Anurag University, to address the gathering.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. Today's guest, Sheikh Asif, our student and alumni, Nikhil and Sandilya and Paresh Masade. We are glad that now we are hosting this event, virtual event. You know that during these pandemic times, what can be done? EDCCL has come forward with this webinar series. I'm glad Anurag University has been in the forefront in encouraging the entrepreneurs at the organization level, especially the EDCCL convener, Dr. V. Vishnuvandana ma'am, along with her team members. They have been putting each and every efforts to make the students self-sustained and also financially free, and they are connecting to the people who have been supporting them. If at all if there is an idea, they have many programs organized every now and then. I can say that, no, like starting from idea generation to pitching, and also they have one day business event. So there are a number of things they are doing in collaboration with the T-Hub, ALEAP, as Vishnuvandana ma'am rightly said that even NEN and Vadvani Foundation. And the most important thing is that Anurag University has been introduced to the entrepreneurship as a course itself, where the students are being exposed to know what are the challenges that they will be facing, how they can overcome, what is the planning that is being involved. All these things have been planned and they have been shared with the students. There are many young entrepreneurs, budding entrepreneurs, where they have joined while studying. They are doing parallelly both the things, and by the time they finish their course, I can say that the best example is Nikhil and Sandilya. Both were been working while even studying. Finally now they have become entrepreneurs. We know the saying that we don't need to be job seekers, be job givers. Even though for the past 3 days, today is the third day, last 2 days, people are telling that it's a risk management, how you can take risk, and the risk is inevitable anywhere. Whether you do business or don't do business, risk is there. And I thank that EDCCL is doing a great job in making the young entrepreneurs by encouraging them, appreciating them, by hand-holding them to become the successful entrepreneurs in their life. Today, we need young entrepreneurs to make our economy better in the global scenario. Even though during this COVID times also, EDC Cell did not stop sharing their knowledge and inspiring the people. They have founded an event like this, where a virtual wisdom sharing event, they're doing it. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Important note to all the participants, feedback form will be in the chat description by the end of the session. I request you all to give your valuable feedback, and participants will be given participation certificates. Thank you. Listening to the success stories is always a great motivation to choose a path with confidence. Today, we have 3 successful, young and dynamic entrepreneurs. I request Chinmayi to introduce our speaker, Mr. Paresh Masade, founder and MD of WOW.
Thank you, Asif. Mr. Paresh Masade sir is an alumni of NIT-IE. He's an mechanical engineer by education and coder by passion. He opted out of placement process at NIT-IE to start Coherence. He built Coherence from the ground, led it to grow from strength to strength, and continued to nurture its growth. He has developed an incredible knack in bringing out the best in everyone around him. He's passionate about everything he does. He's an avid follower of technology, and there isn't much that he doesn't know about web development. He drives technology team and makes sure that customer success is the focus of everything they build.
It's my privilege to invite Mr. Paresh Masade, founder and MD of WOW, to share about his successful journey of entrepreneurship.
Thank you, Jake. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Vishnu ma'am, for inviting me. Thank you, Srinivas sir, for hosting me. It's a privilege to be here speaking to everyone. I don't know, there's a lot of hype that was created saying, hey, successful young entrepreneurs. Yeah, but definitely it's been some part of it where we've been able to drive what we really wanted. So I'll just start off with, I think I have 15, 20 minutes. I'll just start off with where we started, what we do, and what's probably, because I see a lot of audience who would be students, what is important for you? Rather than speaking about a lot of my story, I would probably want to speak about what's something that you can take away. Right. To start off with, I started the company, we call it WOW. We help basically educational institutions with their alumni networks, alumni engagement. So today you see 2 other alumni who are in the panel helping you with inputs of what's happening with their companies, right? And they are actually the motivation for you, not me. They should be the ones who probably help you out, leading you. So what we do is we help every institution connect with their alumni and basically all kinds of things that you can actually leverage the power of your alumni network. So we work with close to about 1,000 plus education institutions across India. In Hyderabad, you would probably see Srinidhi, VNR, VJIT, MJCET, all kinds of top institutions, Vardhaman College, JNTU, Hyderabad, JNTU College of Engineering, almost all the top colleges within Hyderabad, within India, are like use our services to connect with their alumni. And we are also rated #1 alumni management software by a reputed Gartner-based review site that's called G2 Crowd across the world. We work in about 17 countries now. That being said about the company, why we started this, I'll probably start with where I started. So I was like a student entrepreneur. I started off while in college. I was a mechanical engineer. From a college, probably very less people know. Somewhere when Anurag Group started a similar college like that, it's called Indira Reddy College back in 2002. I did my mechanical engineering there. And from there, I I wrote my GATE examination, got a very good percentile, and got into one of the prestigious institutions in the country called NITI, National Institute of Industrial Engineering. So NITI has a very distinction wherein my score would have got me an admission into an IIT Kharagpur, but I chose NITI because industrial engineering is a special department, like special, very specific department where that's the one only unique institution in the country which has a blend of management as well as engineering. So one of the best institutions, I thought I will get into that. learn a lot of things, and then start up. Okay. While having that, coding has been my passion. I started doing websites and all while in my engineering, mostly self-taught coder. And then used to do projects for, like, used to work for an NGO, and then I started doing projects for them. Slowly looking at my work, people started asking, can you do it for me? And so being a student entrepreneur without registering a formal company, but you still get like almost 5,000 to 10,000 rupees a month while you were a student. That was a lot of thing back then, because that's something that you can't even, that's for a student, that's a lot of money. And that's how the interest into entrepreneurship started off. Okay. Always wanted to start a company, but I thought I'll work for a couple of years. And 2007 is when I entered my master's program at NITI. And NITI, and then after NITI, 2009 was our graduation batch. And most of you may be aware that 2009 was a recession year, right? So that recession is when we started off saying, hey, the companies, my seniors and all used to get, the minimum package was about 12 lakhs plus back in 2008, my seniors who got packages. And our batch, it got suddenly dropped to almost 6-7 lakhs kind of thing. Though it was almost 100% placement still, like, because a top small college has 100% placement still. But I thought 6 lakhs, 50,000 per month is something that I can do just doing websites. Why do I need to really go and work in a company? So that was probably an omen somewhere, like, hey, this is a reason for you to probably choose startup right away in the college, like soon after the college, and rather than going and joining a job somewhere. So that was probably a trigger point. The placements that used to happen within 3 days at a campus took almost a month. And one fine day, 25th of January, I do remember, I came back to Hyderabad. There's a 4-month project that we usually have to take up. I said, I will do the project here on my own company. And my professor was kind enough to allow that to happen. So I wanted to start a food chain, actually. I came here, worked for almost 6 months to run a food chain. That didn't turn out well, because I understood that I needed more experience to manage operations to business rather than any other startup. So web designing, web applications were always my passion. Always I loved coding and all, but that was not something that operations was required some more effort. So I thought, okay, let me stop that. And 2009 again, we started building up this company. That's Christine Das Coherence back then. Okay, so the idea of WOW was existing back in college. So I'll tell why it's important. The comparison between the college here versus a top college like National Institute of Engineering, what I realized is that most of the learnings that we had used to happen through alumni. There was at least 1 or 2 alumni who used to come to campus every other week, not even like every other week, someone used to tell. And I was working on my company in the college, right? I used to always work in the nights and sleep in the class almost every day. It's an autonomous college. No one cares about it except for attendance. So still, I was able to know everything that was there in the market, like everything and exposure. You had a complete exposure of what's happening in the industry. And most of the Indian institutions actually miss that. Most of the Indian institutions miss the gap between what's the industry requires versus what is being taught in the institution. And I realized that, hey, that idea of alumni connect, which is very popular in the West, is something very not so popular in India. And if we really have to change the employability of the students, if we really have to change the education sector by itself, both from in terms of fundraising, both in terms of employability, alumni connect becomes very important. So that was the idea that I picked up. I said, hey, I have to build a company on this. I think we really should be the person, someone to change the entire fate of this. And that's how I started off, said I'll come back and build a company, but had no experience, 21 years old, just came out of college, say what to do. And no one, like these days, startups is a craze. Back in then, my dad was, what do you do startups? No one would give you a girl to marry. No one will actually care for you when you start up, right? Startup was not so crazy in 2009 and 10. Right? So we just came in. I probably spent a couple of years. I used to do applications, services, and slowly build the product. Completely bootstrapped until now. We raised from friends and family, but entirely bootstrapped and a profitable company running very well in what we are doing. So that's the story and the journey of how it started in 2014 when we shut down our services wing, and then later picked up this. So what is the takeaway? What is that you as a student should look at? The story is pretty simple, not much craze, no much funding. So usually people care about, hey, if you raise a lot of funding, but no, we are not there. We are still a very profitable, impacting company. We are impact. So in terms of, I would probably give you the scale at which we are working with. So of the top 200 NIRF ranking colleges, 50 of them work with us. Okay, all the top 200, or 50 of them work with. If I consider top 500 institutions across the country, almost 60 to 70 of the top 500 institutions across the country are our customers. So we are impacting the change, what we thought, what we dreamt about in a different way across the country, actually. No, specifically going back to you guys, because you are mostly students just graduating, or some of them in the class of 2021, 22, what you should be looking forward to. One, so why do you start up? That's the question, right? Like most of you really want to start up. You really want to have, see what you really want to, like someone says, hey, I have an idea, I will build an app, I will build something, and then you really want to start up, right? But why do you want to start up, right? So most of the times the reasons are about like, hey, startup makes a lot of money. Startup makes a lot of impact. You raise the funding, you get a visibility, you get called for interactions like this, right? You're being a CEO, you get called for interactions like this and all. But is that the reason for you to start up? Probably not, right? The startup, you probably would want to start up only if you really want to create an impact. If you really want to do something that's probably larger than you. Probably you have a purpose that's much more different, right? So only then that makes a difference. Because in the last 10 years of my journey, I have seen probably at least three near-death situations where probably we'd had, if things don't work out, we would have to close down. Almost the team had left. There were situations where half of the team, probably not half, almost 80% of the team left sometimes. There were all kinds of reasons that you come across which will make you say, hey, if it's not working out, probably I will have to quit, right? So if you really want to go beyond that, if you really want to continue against those hindrances, against those obstacles, you need to have a purpose. You need to know why are you doing this, right? If any one of you wants to start up just because to make a lot of money, probably you're not right. That's probably the first thing you will have to go back and start thinking on, why do you want to start up? So that's first takeaway. Just look at what do you really want to start up. Is that something passionate about that you really love doing for probably next 5 to 10 years? No startups are actually the ones that you see, Flipkarts or something that you see that scaled up within few years, right? Like you say, that's so crazy, raised so much of funding, so much of things. None of them. There are only few of them who are there. There are hundreds of others who die, right? And if you really want to sustain, grow, scale, you will have to find out a reason. And if you can just do that, and that's the reason you'll be there, right? And at the end, it's all about the journey. It's all about like, why are you doing that? Are you enjoying that every day? Are you enjoying what you're doing every other day? And sustaining that for 10 to 11 years, 12 years before you really see some traction coming out, it requires a lot of commitment, a lot of conviction. So that's probably you should go back and think. Second important takeaway for me, what I realized is what is a good time to start up, right? Why should you start up? When do you want to really start up? Should you do it after a couple of years of graduation? Should you start up after right from the college? So for all of that, I think yes, there's no right time to start up always. Okay, if you can, but always is that if you start early, you have a lot of ways to fail. So until you're probably in the college, you're 19, 20 or somewhere, until 25, no one would actually start asking what you do. Like your parents, basically. There's a lot of pressure that comes up in Indian culture, at least, like your marriage and everything starts coming up as wanting when you're somewhere in 25s and 30, like starts from there, and people start having their expectations on you, right? So that's something that you have at least 4 to 5 years. If you are in college, you can just learn and try building up something right now. So the way I probably picked up an idea, I realized within 6 months, I was still in the college, right? Like my graduation hasn't done. I took that as a project, setting up a food chain, right? So you can actually convert your project ideas into viable business opportunities. And that's the best thing, right? You are in the college, no expectations, everything is free from the college. And Anurag is definitely one of the best colleges that supports you a lot of things, right? So you should probably just leverage that, utilize that, and start up. And if it works, well and good. If it fails, you have nothing to lose. But another important part, we have a very different program. My professor was there called Mandi. We call him Prasad sir was there. He starts a program called Student Entrepreneurship. Like he say, Hamara Dhanda is a program that he runs. He says that as a student, if you start doing something practically, right? One, you will learn the subject very well. Okay, any subject that if you are mechanical engineering and you're trying to build a startup in mechanical, you'll learn the subject much more better than your peers, right? And that's a way for you to take off, because you will be better employable than your peers actually. So, and companies today, you speak to like lots of HRs and all, every company today wants to hire someone who has done something practical. And entrepreneurship is today nowhere like a showstopper. You can actually, if you say, I worked on a startup, I worked on this for 6 months, 8 months, 1 year, and I failed. And I really want to look out for a job, and then probably look out for, and I give a commitment for 3 years with your company to work with. People will really first pick up you rather than anyone else. So it's a way for you to build an edge. It's a way for you to start off with something that you really want to, and you also can get a taste of what entrepreneurship is. Right? You become a CEO of the company. You learn all the subjects, right? From your people management, managing your teams, their expectations, managing your assignments, the professors, the time management is something that you learn. You learn the parts of the most important part that entrepreneurship teaches you. Because again, in my college, the 3 things that I learned in my college back in was a very simple fact that, hey, you have to learn to live without excuses. Like I used to sleep in, like I used to still attend the classes and all, but apart from that, I can't tell my client that, hey, I have an assignment, so I can't deliver what you're expecting, because I used to do projects for clients, right? It's a real project, they're giving me money. Or I can't tell my professor that, hey, I have a client, I have to do my work, so I can't actually complete the assignment in time. Because at least today your professors are supporting and they listen to us. At the back then, classmates were actually used to laugh at me. Hey, why is this guy starting something, right? So back, those days were different, but at least now, one most important thing that you learn is to like live beyond excuses, right? And that's probably the most important skill that you learn for the entire life. And you at least start off not because of you get something out of it, but your personality will entirely change. The way you look at things will entirely change. And that's probably the reason you should actually start off, if possible, today. Right. Always another most important learning, I think the third, and I will probably end with this. All of you start with something saying that, hey, I have an idea. I will start off with this. I have an idea that something's very, very dear to me. I think it's good and all. And just start off with building an app or website, whatever you feel, and start it. Most important learning, which no one told me very early, was speak to the customers. Get the customers first, right? So no one tells you this. I don't know why. Even if you told, you don't still neglect that again and again and again and again, right? Start with getting customers, and not because you have an idea or you feel really good about it. Right? So we first got our first customer in 2011, even without our product being ready. We just have some wireframes. We showed the customer, we got a check of 1 lakh rupees, and then started the company. Then started the product. The company was still existing, but we just showed the mock-ups and all. And then we got our first customer saying, hey, we want this. And after that, probably for the next 2 years, we built the product looking at what customers are asking, right? So this learning, which is something very inherent to entire company today, everything that we built is looking at customers. And one thing that you'll always have to look at is, where do I get my money from? Where do I get my customers from? If you're not thinking about that, if you're not thinking about while you're starting the company, probably you will lose out on, you do everything else, you try to sell the product without having the customer. So if there's one takeaway that you should actually look at is start making what customers want, right? So that's probably the end. I think I'll probably almost took 20 minutes. Thank you very much for listening to me. Do reach out to me. You can reach out to me on LinkedIn always. Paresh Masade is my name. LinkedIn.com/in/MASADE, my second name. or you can just search for WOW, WAVE, you can see here, and then reach out to me always. Thank you very much for having me here.
Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot. Thank you for your interesting journey, and hope it inspired many of the future entrepreneurs. And it was wow as well. Thank you once again.
Thank you.
I request Anirudh to share the questions from the chat box to Mr. Paresh, sir.
Yeah, good evening, first of all, everyone. We have a question from Mr. Ramesh Rao. Sir asked that how can we make students as entrepreneurs or employers instead of being an employee?
So these are something that you can't make something happen. So these are something that you can't make someone happen. Entrepreneurship, what you can actually always try is give them an exposure, because the journey of entrepreneurship, the way they are made in, is something that's somewhere more of an attitude, right? Like attitude of a person to really go across and take up challenges. Within our company, we have a lot of team members who run their own verticals as their own, like it's my own task, right? So they are entrepreneurs. They are actually, though they are employed and all, but they are thinking like an entrepreneur. So that is a thought process. Somewhere for me, I would not say would all should be an employee, should all be a entrepreneurs. That's not a question, because primary thing, most important thing again is any entrepreneur. You see me as a CEO of a company, I can't do a job alone. Okay, unless my team is there, unless they are working with me, I can't really deliver things, right? So, and if a large organization, you see, even they can't do it without that. So this part, like probably I happen to lead the team, right? I am a leader of the team, but every leader has to be a best team player, right? Every leader has to be a team player, and actually, like tomorrow, someone else is actually doing really well, I should put him forward and take a back seat, right? So that is a quality of an entrepreneur or a leader, and that's something very important for everyone. So you don't have to make anyone. The best parts of the best leaders are actually the best team players. So make sure that if possible, within the organization, within the college, you can really create teams, make the students understand that team spirit is very important. They should actually work with lots of people. And you as an CEO of a company are responsible to answer a lot more people, right? So if you can't handle a team, you can't actually work with a bunch of 4 people, work under them, you can't really lead a team. So that's probably the most important team spirit that as an entrepreneur, as a someone, as a student actually should learn. And your team works, the dissertation works that you usually do are kind of thing where you actually should make sure that that comes in first.
Yeah, any more questions are there?
No, sir. We only have one question from the audience. So I would request Asif to please continue the session.
Thank you, Anirudh. Thank you, sir, for answering the question. Now I request Chinmay to introduce our next speaker, Mr. Sandilya Pisapati, violinist and composer.
Thank you, Asif. Mr. Sandilya Pisapati is an alumni of Anurag University. He is a professional violinist from Hyderabad, predominantly a part of Telugu film and music industry. He has been learning violin from the age of 6 under Sri Ashok Gurjale Garu at RRB School of Violin. His first professional feature film was recording for a composer called Sri Ram Narayan for the Telugu movie Dil Diwana in 2014. Till now, he have recorded sessions in Telugu, Tamil, Hindi for features, web contents, advertisements, devotionals, independent albums, etc.
So, hi, hello everyone. I'm Sandilya Pisapati here. Hello everyone. Firstly, this is very new to me. I'm like, I have no idea about this. So, ma'am asked me to join this session. So, okay. So, yeah, how are you doing? I hope everyone is safe at home, staying safe.
Yeah, thank you, Sandilya.
So, actually, please ask me a few questions so that I can answer. It's like that would be very easy for me. It's like this stuff is totally different. You guys was talking about entrepreneurship, and my thing is totally different from entrepreneurship. So yeah, it's better if you ask me some questions and then I can answer your doubts and something.
Sandilya, you can share that, what inspired you, what made you to take this, because you are a mechanical engineer, if I'm right.
Yeah.
So now, how did you, you make your passion as your profession? You're enjoying your life. What made you? Who inspired? Something like that. For 10 minutes, if you can speak, so that
Yeah.
meanwhile we'll get the questions. Okay.
So my guru is my inspiration. So he's Sri Ashok Gurjale Garu. I've been learning violin since 23 years. Since 23 now. So yeah. I didn't know that they should become my profession. There's a post in my home like, you should do engineering. You should get a job. You should work on you should work 8 hours a day and blah 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 blah. So taking that in my mind, I just completed my engineering. But I unfortunately in mid engineering, I got a chance to play in a movie called Dil Deewana. So Ram Narayan. So from there, I didn't even know that I would come into focus. So I just put my heart in it. I just just went with the flow. There are many ups and downs in the industry. Like you should just forget about it. You just start. You should only follow your heart, what it says. So my inspiration is my guru. Yeah. Anymore? I'm extremely so sorry. I think I'm being so
Okay.
work.
No, sir. No,
No, that's
Sandilia.
fine. That's fine, Sandilia. You spoke very well. And only one
Actually-
more thing before they ask questions. Let me know that what was the difficult task that you had, the challenge that you had when you want to shift your profession from engineering to the engineering to your music.
I had to manage time. College starts around 8 a.m. in the morning, and that ends at 4:30 in the evening. So when I get work, I work after the college hours. So I work till midnight, 12, or that may even extend to 5 a.m. in the morning. So I used to stay down at the studio. I used to sleep in the studio. So I used to not have my dinner in time. Food in time. I used to roam here and there, here and there. There would be one work in some other studio and other work in other studio, which has much distance between it. So I used to not sleep a lot when I was working. So this I didn't find this difficult because this is what I love doing. So yeah, that didn't make me any difficult thing for me to do. Yeah.
Sandilia.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, why, as you said, why it, because one of the reasons what we thought was music is also an industry where you are supposed to survive on your own. There is a lot of competition, same like a industry here. And we wanted to show that entrepreneurship does not exist only what people think in software or something, but it is in every industry. When you can prove you are single-handedly or team-wise, you can perform, you are going to survive. So I think you must have faced the similar challenges where every entrepreneur will face. So like the first challenge will be identifying your passion. Luckily for you, you have identified yours as violin. The second challenge will be entry into the industry. We call it entry barriers. So how did it happen to you, because of some network or yeah?
It's not about the network. One of my brother used to work in the industry, so he just saw me playing violin at home. So he just took me to a music director called Ram Narayan. So he just loved it. So after that, I didn't even know that I'll be going into the industry. Only like my brother only took me to that director. After that, I myself had to get into focus with every music director. Like, so I used to do some videos. I used to collaborate with different artists. So when you collaborate with different artists, you learn so many things with them, and you can even get opportunities in different ways when you collaborate with different artists like that. So I used to do all this thing at a 24-hour clock. I used to do every day, every second. I don't want to miss this music. And I met with an accident last month, and I'm missing. I miss playing violin. I broke my wrist. So yeah.
Yeah, actually, we asked him if he can play for a minute to mesmerize our audience, but unfortunately,
I wish I could, but it takes one time for me to recover. Yeah, I'm
we hope
extremely
we wish you a speedy recovery. No, actually, why the second thing is like, you have been without knowing, you have actually acted like an entrepreneur. That is what actually happens. We call it professionally as an entrepreneur when you are trained, but otherwise also there are many people, like if you call Ambani or latest anyone, they don't know that they are being entrepreneurs, but they just jump into it. But after jumping in, you did the same, like collaborating, keeping with competition and doing everything. So you can consider yourself as a music entrepreneur. And I hope you're composing something. Are there any
Yeah,
compositions you have made,
um,
creating
yeah,
new?
I've
Yeah.
made like few teams, so I would be releasing those in this year and maximum, mostly. So let me recover first, then I can give the update about my
Sure.
album or songs or something. And yeah, thank you so much for letting me know
No,
that even
thank
I'm
you.
an entrepreneurship in this.
Everyone who tries to innovate something, that is actually the program is that it's a wake up call, that where every common man also feels that he can become an entrepreneur, and where they feel that it is something which is not their cup of tea. And
There are so many barriers in every even in this college, like student life or professional life or office, etc. Anywhere there are many barriers in your life. So I always say, just don't take those barriers very seriously. Just cross them and enjoy life. If you take a barrier very seriously, it's like, you are stuck there. You're
yes,
only thinking about that barrier. You're not thinking about the next barrier which are about to come to you. So the only thing is, don't think about the barrier. Just cross it, jump, follow your heart.
thanks, very nice. And you have had a team last time you performed in, remember in our college you performed
Yeah,
with your team.
yeah, yeah.
Was that
That
your
was, yeah, that was my band. So I don't call it as my band. It's like we are a team. So uh, guitar, like, I just wanted to introduce the band members. So on guitars it was Manohar, on drums it was Vishal, and on keyboards it was Ganesh. So I love, you know, many of the audience don't like listening to instrumental stuff. Many of them only like to listen, like, a person singing on the stage or person entertaining on the stage. So I just wanted to start an instrumental band in Hyderabad. So that is how we started there. So
Do-
hope all
and you
love
won't
that.
call yourself an entrepreneur when you started it?
I never felt like an entrepreneur. I was no. After you are the only one who are calling me an entrepreneur.
You
I never
started
feel.
your band, you are composing songs, you are
Yeah.
innovating yourself.
Okay.
I feel from my side you are an entrepreneur.
Thank
What
you
is the
so much.
English, Srinivas sir, Dr. Srinivas sir?
Yeah, no, no, he rightly said, no, he has got a plan of starting his own band, music band,
He started,
especially.
sir. He already
Yeah,
performed.
and that's where, no, he is an entrepreneur, but somewhere he is feeling that he's not an entrepreneur. That's fine,
And
because no, that is his passion. He thinks that no, he's doing it, and he's making it to happen. Really,
and,
your performances are awesome, I can say that. And you started
and
your own instrumental band. That makes, you an entrepreneur. Okay.
I'm
uh,
I'm glad
uh,
Sandelia put this point, because I think many of the audience will relate when they think what I did is not what it is. It is something else. But it is not that. When you do something on your own, doing something which is not existing, that's it. You're starting on your own itself is entrepreneurship for our point of view. You may make
I'm like, this is not at all my subject, so that's the reason I'm not.
I know, I
and that
know.
that's fine. That's
Thank you. Are there any questions?
Yeah, if any questions, I would love to answer them.
Audience are mesmerized. They are giving showering compliments on you. They are saying you're
Ma'am, we have one question.
Okay.
That is by Shekhbani Roy, if I'm not wrong, the pronunciation is correct. So it is, how do we convince our parents? Because I follow my passion as a dancer. My parents won't let me do it.
Okay. You want to convince your parents, right? Even I didn't convince my mom. My progress only convinced my mom. Just I started playing in the industry when she started looking me on the YouTube or on TV shows, or like, in all these platforms. When she started finding me there, she was like very feeling proud, and she started encouraging me there. So I only say, like, don't waste your time convincing your parents. Just keep time for your set a timetable for your profession. Work on it, work hard, get a fame, get into people, get into focus. Then automatically your parents will get convinced about your profession, and they'll know that how much you love your profession. So yeah, that is how you convince your parents. That don't waste time convincing your parents at home. Just use that time on your profession. Yeah. Any more
Thank
questions?
you. Thanks a lot. I would like to request Asif to take over the session.
Thank you, Anirudh,
Thank you,
and
thank
sir,
thank
for
you, thank you, Sandelia. I wish you a
Was blessed.
speedy recovery. I hope that soon we'll be listening about your album release.
Sure.
All the
Thank
best.
you,
Thank you.
Sandilia. All the best.
Thank you so much,
Thanks
man.
for
Thank you.
accepting and coming.
Thank you, everyone. Love
Yeah.
you all.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
A
sir.
small note to the participants. I kindly request all the participants, please note that the certification link is integrated into today's feedback form. So please do fill today's feedback form to receive your certificate directly to your registered email ID. Thank you. I request Chinmay to introduce our next speaker, Mr. G. Nikhil, founder and CEO of DigiDine.
Thank you, Asif. Mr. G. Nikhil is an alumni of Anurag University. He's a tech enthusiast and a strategist. He's an expert in business communication, operational management, editorial management, and idea evaluation. He's a person with unique ability to manage projects and to navigate complex challenges. He has been a guest speaker at many prestigious institutions like JNTUH, Usmania University, JNTU Anantapur, Vasavi, etc. His first innovation is a low-cost water heater to one of the biggest companies in home appliances, and then built up his startup DigiDine and won many rewards and recognitions in startup ecosystem.
It's my privilege to invite Mr. G. Nikhil, founder and CEO of DigiDine, to share about his successful journey of entrepreneurship.
Yeah. Hello everyone. Like, am I audible?
Yeah. Hello, Nikhil.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So am I audible right now, ma'am?
Yeah, you are audible, Nikhil.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe some picture clarity is bit less. There is no lighting in this room, and somehow the power is down. I'm working on the hotspot. If something is wrong, I'm really sorry for that. Yeah.
It's okay. You please start.
Yeah. So yeah. So I have to thank first Vandana ma'am and also Srinivas sir for giving me this opportunity, and also Vandana ma'am being so helpful all through my journey. I was the only, like, one of less students who used to bug her so much, visiting her office almost every day. And yeah, so my journey is more or less started as a student, and it all started with the idea of coffee shop in the college, and somehow it didn't work out. But later on, the idea is evolved into restaurants digitalization, and yeah. So in the initial days, obviously, like Sandelia was mentioning, instead of focusing on how exactly you want to convince your parents, focus on the progress that you want to do, and automatically once the recognition is there, I think you'll find the goal, what exactly you want to feel, right? So my journey started with one restaurant in near Opal, and obviously they've rejected because we were just students working in almost like in our 19s with our idea, and we went to 15 other restaurants. Everybody rejected. They're like, we cannot take some project on board, and next time. So we consulted a person who we know, and we asked what exactly we have to do. So the idea is, we instead of regular a la carte menus, we were trying to give digital menus. Like back then, there was not much need in terms of digital menus, but right now, in terms of COVID, people are actually encouraging digital menus, where you can actually place an order directly from the mobile app. So this is Digidine and this is Garrett Motors, and these are the two startups that have started till date. Like we've been working in Garrett Motors received almost 2 CR of funding recently, and we've established our own garage in LB Nagar. So it's a electric vehicle company. So the first idea was to digitalize entire restaurant experience, and the second idea was to convert petrol and diesel vehicles into electric. So my journey towards electric vehicles, because I'm a mechanical engineer, the passion has never died. Though uh, you know I was bended towards technical and more of a tech stuff, but our core idea of mechanical engineering never died. So I founded this company with my other peers members, like my seniors in the same department. So this is how my journey started. Obviously, in the initial stages, it was very hard in terms of to understand, convince our parents, and there were relatives coming and asking you to, what are you doing? Why are you not doing job? Yeah. So many answers that you have to give in your BTech. So maybe one good example I could give is if you start young, there will be all the challenges you might face in a startup career or failures you might fail. You would see so early that by the time you take this as a serious profession, you guys can actually beat the odds that can be possible because you already have the experience. But instead, if you go work for a 9 to 5 job, I think you'll be very much less exposed towards the realistic problems because you have a fixed domain, fixed career, and fixed exposure towards certain things, and that's where you actually miss. In terms of understanding the reality of how exactly this market works. So that's one. So there are three key takeaways that I could give you guys right now in terms of starting a startup at a very young age. One key takeaway would be in terms of market research. You guys have to, I think, many counseling sessions by Vandana ma'am already told you with the lot many speakers out there, taking market research very serious, because that's one thing we have done mistake. Why those 15 people we've approached in the initial stages didn't approve of the company that we're looking for? Because we didn't done proper market research. That's where we failed. And next time we went with a proper market research, we went to those restaurants, understood problems, and see what exactly where we can help those people. So that's where we understood the real problem, and then we started to get some attentions on those lines. And second key takeaway: people generally have this myth of, we don't have money, we don't have capital to start off with. So literally, my coffee shop in my college started with like 6,000 rupees, and my Digidine started with almost like 3,000 rupees in hand. I think these basic money would be anytime be there. It's hardly a one day birthday parties money these days. Kids are burning on their birthday parties. So yeah, money is not at all a problem. So that one key takeaway. But eventually you have to find out jugards and ways that you can do it on by selling your vision. So later you sell your product and money automatically comes. So I'm very proud to say that though the Garrett Motors raised funding recently, Digitine has never raised funding. Even today it's bootstrapped. It's completely funded by your own company. So there is no other external investor who's putting in money, and still we are in almost 370 restaurants in Hyderabad right now. So that's one proud thing that I would actually share. And third thing is financial literacy is what I always talk about in every guest seminar or webinar I go. Like kids having understanding. In terms of kids, I'm talking about engineering people who and intermediate kids who are actually are entering any profession, either it be startup or entrepreneurship, and either it be 9 to 5 job. Operate, it's very much important. And I think you guys should have a proper idea in terms of understanding financial literacy, how exactly money works, taxes works, bank works, all of these before you actually get into starting something of your own. So having this core idea is very much important. So three key takeaways that I would give is those. So yeah, I think I wouldn't bore you guys with much of a journey of mine, but I would love to take questions from you guys and answer them in person. Ma'am, I think I'm done
There
with
are
this.
questions.
So
There
I
are
would love to take
questions.
questions.
There are questions.
There are a few number of questions. So first is from Gajjala Srilata.
Vandana ma'am, you're on mute. I haven't seen you.
Yeah, I'm on mute, but Anirudh is asking questions.
Hello, am I audible? Hello. Hello, am I audible? Hello.
Nikhil, is it audible, Nikhil?
Hello.
Nikhil, is it audible?
He's facing some technical issues.
I think there is some audible.
You are audible to us.
Yeah. Am I audible right now?
Yes,
You are audible.
Yes.
Am I audible to you?
Yeah, right now you're audible. Go on.
Yeah, fine. So there is a question by Gajala Srilata. Any business depends upon the type of the business we carry. On example, hotels. Now, how can hotel businesses can boom? Like, how can the hotel businesses boom if we want to introduce something else? And
Okay.
how can they get back their original position?
Can you please repeat the last point? I didn't get the last point.
How can they get back to the original position considering the current scenario?
Oh, okay. In terms of COVID, okay, yeah. So see, right now, in terms of industry, it's heavily affected because we've been so we are in 370 restaurants in Hyderabad. Maybe in just considering Hyderabad scenario, we are the only one who have those many restaurants on one platform, apart from Swiggy and Zomato. The in-house platform, even Dinote has almost like 260, 270, and we're in 370 restaurants. So we clearly understood about what exactly problems are being faced by these restaurants. So there are very less walk-ins right now, because see, one of the very big chain makers of milkshake is our client, and milkshake, one of the biggest milkshake chain. So they are having, for every store, they're having maximum of 10 orders per day in walk-ins. Like Swiggy and Zomato, they're getting a few orders, but walk-ins, they are getting 10 orders. So I think this is the new normal that these restaurants have to inculcate. And what exactly problems they are getting is, one, in terms of IoT. So coordinating their staff, being hygiene, and also coordinating orders on Swiggy and Zomato is one big problem that is stated by these restaurants. So we are trying to, so even Digidine is working in those lines. So far, so possible in terms of to bring every problem on board in terms of Swiggy, Zomato, and their walk-ins, dine-in, everything on one dashboard instead of maintaining 100 dashboards out there. So that's one key problem. And restaurants in terms of dine-in, obviously before COVID also there was this one movement of cloud kitchen. Everybody, even Swiggy and Zomato, we were launching a lot of cloud kitchens out there. You could see, if you open Zomato today, you'll see many cloud kitchens. There won't be any physical restaurants, but there are a lot of cloud kitchens. So this is one movement that restaurants could actually cover up their dine-in, lessen up their dine-in skill and move towards cloud kitchens in order to experience more better results for them. So these are very few statements, and again, being sanitized is already been done by a lot of companies out there, but I don't see any much of a margin there. But so third problem, like I couldn't share, but anyway, it doesn't matter. So third problem is the data analytics. Like following their inventory management is one really big problem stated by our research. So we are working on some artificial intelligence based network, some neural network that could actually give them a clear idea about how exactly these restaurants can manage their inventory. So that's one thing that we are working on. So yeah, so these are problems. If someone in the audience would love to join us on journey, we would you can ping me on Instagram or LinkedIn, anywhere you find me. You can just type Amigo Nikhil, you'll get.
Yeah. So there is another question by Mr. Anish Kumar. Sir, how would you build a team that supports you?
Please repeat that.
It's by Mr. Anish Kumar. How would you build a team that supports you? Hello?
Yeah, can you please repeat that? I'm sorry with the internet, man. Like,
Yeah. How do you build how to build a team that supports you?
okay. See, in my case, I was very fortunate to have a school friend in joining hands. But this is I especially keep focusing on this because this is not the case with everyone. Because very rare you get a school friend who could actually support you in business. So what you can look for is when you're looking in terms of team, you should look what you cannot do. You should agree what is not your cup of tea, because when you're starting a startup, everybody are like, everything I'll only do, like I'll do this, I'll do that, everything I'll do operations, I'll do menu management, everything. So you should agree, you should come sit down and see what exactly you're missing, and you look for people who can actually do better than you, and you have to be very humble about it. And convincing team, in terms of that, I would say when you talk about entrepreneurship and startup, obviously you came up with that idea because you have a vision, and you should be able to sell that vision to anybody out there. It may be parents, may be your teammates, or anybody. If you come up with a reason that my parents are not agreeing, obviously everybody, even my parents were so angry with me when I started a coffee shop, because I was doing a professional degree and I was not expected to start a coffee shop, and then followed waiting tables in restaurants because to pilot. So all of this, I would direct towards team selection in terms of selling your vision. So even it be your parents, your colleagues, or your friends, or anybody out there, you will be able to sell your vision. You'll get amazing team. So that's how I think I answered the question.
Yeah.
I hope I answered.
Yeah, there is another question by Mr. Ramesh Rao. As a mechanical engineering student, what is the suggestion you want to give for the mechanical engineering students who want to become entrepreneurs?
Okay, yeah. So this startup right here, Garrett Motors. This is an electric vehicle company. So in terms of mechanical engineering, that I'm not a big fan of the current syllabus, because we've been taught till now. We still have only IC engines, and all of that syllabus is not upgraded towards the way the industry is fast pacing. Even like any engineering, that for that matter. But in terms of mechanical engineering specifically, I would say there is a lot of skill lagging in terms of electric vehicles, because automobile is one key role where mechanical engineers are mostly hired. And in terms of technologies, of hybrid technologies, and also pure electric vehicle technologies, there is lot of potential in India right now. And going to very core, there is also in robotics, in terms of satellite management, and also drone. So these comes in hand. So when hand in hand with electronic communications, and also with computer science engineering, those will be hybrid technologies. When I talk about only, so when we talk about pure mechanical engineering, it would be electric vehicles, because that's very core towards electrics we learn in our mechanical engineering. So I think maybe a course or a syllabus that can be built on these lines, and handed out to mechanical engineers. So I think from there there'll be opportunities and also startups coming from those lines. Yeah, I hope I answered your question.
So there's another question by Mr. Vijay Bhaskar. What is the basic thing to inculcate to the students who want to become entrepreneurs?
Okay, so I won't be accurate in terms of this, because I'm not a successful entrepreneur yet. Though I've raised funding, we've got a few restaurants. I couldn't call myself successful entrepreneur, because but I can give you baselines that a startup guy should have, because today it's so fancy to have a startup and raise funding and all that. Back then in 2016 and 17, when we were starting, like 3 years back, there was no ecosystem. There were no webinars like this. Instead, we were bullied for doing something like this. So I think first thing, they should be so humble that they have these many resources, and utilize them to the maximum extent, so they can learn before they enter the market. And patience is one key role I would actually suggest to have, because a lot of startup young guys I see, Vandana ma'am was mentioning Sumit and all the, so these people have amazing energy. These guys have, amazing energy in terms of working so late. It doesn't matter 5 to 6, 7 o'clock. It's till morning. They work till 7 o'clock, and then they sleep for 3 to 4 hours. Then they wake up. They come again. So this energy and patience level should go hand in hand if you want to start up something. And last but not least is I would say put your feet down. Don't actually dream of a Lamborghini or a Ferrari that you want to get in a week or two where you start a startup. More key focus on your product, I was there on the other side, when even people were telling me that it is not possible in a week or two, but I was very sure that I'm going to buy Lamborghini in 2 to 3 years. So I would suggest that those are just fairy tales that you imagine. It's good to have something in mind that pushes you off, but you should be very humble, and you should put your feet to ground so that you would more focus on product and problem solving than the materialistic gains that you would get from startup. I hope that I answered the question.
So there's another question by Mr. Gautam Ghosh. How I have the competition with big existing restaurants or caterings during opening my business or restaurants or caterings.
Okay.
And how can I start my restaurant?
Okay. Now I'm not accurate in terms of answering how would exactly you start a restaurant, but right now I think it's not a business that you should look for because the market is very volatile, and things are changing really fast. I think you should wait for 3 to 4 more months, or else 6 months to the best. So because there will be a lot of investment that goes in when you start a restaurant in terms of logistics or staff, all that stuff. So when it comes to pure technical those lines, I think it's better you wait 6 to 8 months more to the best as possible before you start a restaurant. And in terms of catering, it all depends on menu, because we observe when they order through Digidine. Always the best selling item would be the something different that is not selling in other menus. So I think coming up with a crazy menu and something that actually stands out is first thing that you grab a customer, and once they come into your restaurant, it all depends on taste, how exactly you give them service, and also the those flavors that adding to their tongue. I think that's where the cravings come from. So once you crack that, I think you're way ahead of the competition.
Yeah. So there's a question by Mr. Rupesh. How did you even get the idea of starting up Digidine?
Yeah, Digidine. Yeah, exactly. So when I thought of starting a coffee shop in my college, obviously there were more orders would be happening in terms of there are, I rightly said, 5 to 6,000 people. Even if we expect 10% of them, like 500 people or 600 people ordering a day, I think it would be very hard to manage for a single small coffee shop to actually run. So I teamed up with CSE kids in my college, and I asked them, can you do this? And I should mention Ravindra Reddy sir helped me a lot, and also Vandana ma'am was there all through the journey in terms of college, how exactly it can be done. And we thought a pre-ordering system where they can order from their class, entering their student ID, and we could serve them coffee by the time they reach coffee shop. So that was the idea, and coffee shop didn't worked out at that point of time for various reasons, but I thought extending this idea. Why should I stop exactly here? I want to extend this to restaurants, and then we went ahead, and things were good in terms of having in the initial stages because I had so much time. I used to do one day batting. Obviously, I wouldn't sit every day and study for engineering. So like 90% of us do that. So I think we have enough time to explore. So that's where I decided to explore, and it actually worked out in my case.
Yeah. So there's another question by Shubhagani Roy. It is the place where I live have maximum 50 to 60 restaurants. Okay. Does the number of restaurants affect the business?
No. Restaurant business is considered to be still growing business, because there are hundreds of restaurants out there. But the whole funda of having a restaurant is people want to try something new every day. Like every day they want to try something new, right? So having number of restaurants, it doesn't matter, but standing out from those restaurants, if there is, let's say, 100% of business, there are 100 restaurants, the 80% of the business will be shared by top 5 restaurants itself. The other 20% will be split among the all other restaurants out there. So why those top 5 restaurants stand out is because of their menu and also ambience and service, the brand they built. And when I say brand, it doesn't mean if you should be 100-year-old restaurant, because there is this one restaurant called Dadu's near Paradise, right? Dadu's came in very recently near Paradise. Paradise was somewhere around like 100-120 years back. They've been serving biryani in Hyderabad, and still establishing a restaurant like that still went ahead in competition, and now there is more billing happening in Dadu's than compared to Paradise. So I think people should understand this. Having the menu and also ambience and service depends on how you move ahead and kick out the competition instead of worrying on the number of people out there. I hope I answered the question right.
So we have one last question by Mr. Sai Kishore. How do we handle the scare of failure and losing whatever we have? Was I audible? How do we handle the scare of failure and losing whatever we have? How do we?
I would actually say, come on, man. Like, what is? I really don't think when you're talking in terms of engineering, we shouldn't discuss what is failure is. Like, I think this is that's very silly. I understand when you talk about failure. You talk about you're not getting required marks in engineering, having a couple of 2 to 3 backlogs in engineering, or you're failing your startup completely to zero or going bankruptcy. Come on, there are companies and startups out there who've raised $1 million in funding, like 600-700 crores. They failed, they went bankruptcy, they went to zero. That's called a failure. And I think when you compare that level of failure compared to these, I think we are having very, very tiny and small hurdles. We cannot call it as failures. These are hurdles, and either way, in startup there is this funda. You might be failing in your job or in your career, but in startup you will never fail. You either win or you learn. So that is the funda that you should get, because there is no chance you would come out as a failure when you start a startup. Even though you didn't make single client, you didn't make single rupee, you lost 6 lakhs, 10 lakh rupee into your business, but you still come out more worth than that 6 lakhs. So I think we shouldn't actually talk about failure in those lines. You guys should be motivated right now in terms of to do something in your engineering, because you have so much time and so much energy right now. Never worry about failure, man. That's the least thing that you should look for, because that's not going to happen anyway.
Yeah. So there's another question. How do you efficiently manage both your startups, and how much do you depend upon your team?
Startups and academics is what the question is?
No. How do you manage both of your startups efficiently?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So
how much do you depend upon your team?
Yeah, I think yeah. See, I am heavily inspired by Elon Musk, and this guy is such an amazing. I think we have to look for people like this in our career. I think we give more preference to our actors in India instead of looking at people like this, right? Because this amazing guy handles 6 startups in a line, and he'll just sleeps 5 hours a day. And he says one statement that actually touched me a lot. If you want to be successful and you're sleeping 8 hours a day, I think you should give up on that idea. So I always had this. That doesn't mean you should step on multiple boats at a time. How Digitine has worked, it took me 2 years to having established that startup. So I've seen where it went. It was going to a saturation, and it was not picking up that pace that we were expected. And the new innovation of digital menu was not that inculcated, and restaurants weren't ready to accept that technology right now. So I thought we can automate the entire stuff, and I've automated the entire current operations what we had in Digitine, and then I moved on to other startup where I can see growth and innovation. That was the whole idea, right? So my understanding is basically automizing stuff. Once you hit a phase, like let's say initially I used to write up the menus. I used to upload the menus. I used to download pictures from Google and upload the menus. I used to write the descriptions. I used to go to restaurants. So step by step, I given once I feel that this is saturated, this can be automated. I appoint somebody else to that same position. They do it. So right now, Digidine has 17 employees who can handle even I'm slept 24 by 7. I'm not even though I don't attend them. So that kind of a strong team I have. I believe in them. So barely they give me a call. They know I might be busy in some other work, so they barely give me a call. So my other co-founder handling the entire company right now, and I moved on to Garrett Motors, and I'm full time working on this. Still, I'm working on product innovation and development for Digitime right now. So it's all about managing your time, and you have almost 16, 18 hours in the best case scenario. Even if you sleep 6 hours a day, you have 18 hours where you can work. Now come on, what else you can do? So that's the whole point, and that's the idea you guys should have. I hope I answered the question.
Yeah, that's it. I guess that's all the questions we have. Thank you, sir, a lot for the questions. Now I request Asif to take over, please.
Thank you, sir, and thank you, Anirudh. Yes, ma'am.
Actually, I'm glad because Nikhil and me, ESL started almost on the same time. Do you remember Nikhil?
Yeah.
His first year and Avishkaran's first year was almost same. And I still remember Nikhil doing his heater, for which you got the first award in 2015, I think.
Idea Fest, ma'am. It was for the Idea Fest. T-Hub.
Yes, in T-Hub. So I just wanted to share because as a teacher, we are always proud of our students. And the student who is actually being invited as a guest and speaking so much professionally.
That's an honor, ma'am. That's a real honor.
I really, we wish you a lot of success ahead. And I'm very actually proud that you're having a right attitude and knowing, because in entrepreneurship, we know sometimes some little hurdles may come in the future. We hope you don't get, but I'm very glad that you have the attitude of saying either we win or learn. We wish you all the success to everyone.
Thanks
that's it. All the best, Nikhil. Thanks for coming.
Thanks a lot. Thanks everyone. It was pleasure meeting you guys. And you can, if you have any idea in terms of if you want to implement, always you can reach out to me. Just type Amigo Nikhil on Google, you'll get me. And most probably there will be my number also out there somewhere. It is there. So you guys, you can just reach out at any point of time. I would love to help you guys. And we are working on building this Hyderabad ecosystem so strong. Because when we also, ma'am, I would love to share this. When we go for investment, there was this recent funding of Sequoia Capital. We went as a startup from Hyderabad, representing Hyderabad, and we were rejected only because our location, our ecosystem wasn't that strong. There was similar startup from Bangalore. They got funding and we got rejected, and it's okay. I think it doesn't matter because the level of commitment and dedication coming these days, I think these young startups can come up and these people can strengthen the ecosystem more strong so that they'll also get funded in the very soon. And so there is location based bias in terms of startup funding. I think we should come in hand so that more sessions like this would actually empower more people to start their startups. And once the ecosystem is strong, I think there'll be amazing startups coming out. Yeah,
definitely, Nikhil.
Oh, glad
students like you and alumni like us, I think we can do a lot. And these students are also quite active these days because we have come a long way, 5 years now, I guess. So many more events are happening, and students, we have a team of 200 now who are working for ESL. And as you know, all the activities are organized by students. I'm only
200 is big number. Back then we used to go to every class to join ESL. Right now 200 people is a very huge number.
And I forgot to say in the morning, the person who is coordinating now, Sri Krishna, has started his own event management, Kriya. Great. And he has organized many things. So he's also one of our startup. Now at least I'm showcasing my students as a success. Nikhil, Sri Krishna, Sumit, and I hope many more. The ESL of Anurag should flourish.
Sure, ma'am. Sure.
Thank you.
It was pleasure, guys. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Nikhil. Bye.
Thank you, Nikhil. Thank you so much. Wish you all the best. Hope that you'll be doing great in your teacher career. I hope that your business will grow more. Already got 2 crores of funding. Wish you all the best, Nikhil. Thank you for joining.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, sir. It's been a pleasure. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Asif.
Thank you, Mr. Nikhil. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir. Now, I kindly request all the participants, please note that the certification link is integrated into today's feedback form. So please do fill today's feedback form to receive your certificate directly to your registered email ID. Thank you. It's my privilege to invite Dr. V. Vishnuvandana ma'am, Associate Professor, MBA Department and Convener ESEL, Anurag University, to propose vote of thanks.
Thank you, Asif. Respected dignitaries, a guest of honor, Dr. M. Srinivas Rao, sir, Academic Coordinator, Anurag University, psychologist and coach, and all my team members, and all the members who have supported us, the management, Chairman Dr. Palla Rajeshwar Reddy Garu, VC Sri Ramchandran Garu, Registrar Ma'am, Syed Fatima Ma'am, and our directors are Dr. K.S. Rao Garu, all my student team members, Asif, Chinmay, Krishna, and all the members, and especially all the participants, Anirudh, Nairin, whoever has supported us, and particularly all the participants who have been very active in the virtual entrepreneurship, that you have given us a motivation to do a few more. And I welcome you all your suggestions, like what would you expect, in which way the program could be made better, improved, if you feel like something else could be done. And I'm trying to tell you again that Anurag University and Anurag Avishkaran is always open for anyone who would like to have any suggestions or incubation facilities or in any support, not only in entrepreneurship. I am representing entrepreneurship, so I am talking, but in any area, the facilities are, there are a huge number of mentors throughout the country, industry members throughout the country. So I welcome once again on behalf of Anurag University to anyone who would like to utilize our facilities. And I thank everyone, the management, team members, faculty, students, and especially the participants for being with us for 3 days. And we welcome your suggestions. And I hope you all will participate for the next few events. You have given us a confidence to do it. And my special thanks to Dr. M. Srinivas Rao Garu, who has been supporting us for all 3 days without taking rest. He worked more than me, actually. And thanks to the coordinators. Thank you so much. Wish you all have a happy and safe life ahead. I hope the COVID-19 goes fast and we'll start seeing ourselves as more productive and more learned from before. Thank you once again. Namaste.
Once again, a big kudos each and everyone. We wish to see you again soon. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thanks.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, sir.
I congratulate all the team members for making this event successful, especially the students who have organized this wonderful, like Krishna, Chinmay, Asif, Anirudh,
Thank you,
Nairin.
all each and
Maybe
everyone
back
who
end.
made it wonderful and successful. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Congratulations to all of you.
Thank you,
Thanks
sir.
a
We are
lot.
concluding the meeting
Thank
now.
you, sir.
Yes, sir. Thanks.